Right, I've been connecting up the engine side of the cooling system, which has got lots of shiny fittings and hoses and things like that. And hopefully that means that we can now run the engine for more than a minute. But what I'll have to do after lunch is fill it up full of water to see if there's any leaks and then try starting the engine.
Did you say there's two sides to this engine?
It's not two sides to the engine, but there's two sides. With a car, the air going through the radiator cools the water, which is then circulated around the engine. But because this isn't a boat, there's no air going around it, you circulate river water around something called a heat exchanger. And the river water doesn't touch the water going in the engine, but it cools it down as they pass close to each other, so that keeps the engine cool. So I've done the bit going from the river previously, and now I've connected up the bit that goes around the engine to keep it cool.
Does that mean that if it works without any leaks, we can run the engine for more than a few minutes?
Yes, yeah, because then it'll be cooled properly.
Going to happen. A big moment's going to happen very shortly. Simon's going to appear, come down the ladder, and we're going to try the engine with the new coolant system, and hopefully it won't leak water everywhere. Simon has been working hard, so I hope he's got it right. Tell us about this cooling system, Simon, that you've been working on.
Well, this part here is the heat exchanger. We've got one bit that takes river water and passes it through that, and it just goes out the side of the boat or out the exhaust. The other part is a bit more like the radiator in a car, where it circulates clean water around the engine to cool it down, and that's what all these bizarrely shiny bits have been connected up to do. But the first time I did it, there was loads of leaks, so I've put it all back together.
Just say from what happened the first time you did it?
The first time I put all this together, there was a number of leaks, so I had to take it all apart and put more sealant on it and put it back together. And now I'm hoping that I've got rid of the last few leaks, which means that we can run the engine for longer.
I notice you've got a bucket there. Is that because you're not completely confident in your work?
No. There's been a few leaks that I found, but I fixed them on Friday night, I think, so I'm just hoping there's a tiny bit of water there. But I'm hoping that maybe if I run it for a bit, it'll just stop itself. Sometimes these little miracles happen.
Let's see then. Simon, now we've turned the engine on, it started beautifully. You hear that funny little noise, and you tell me it's the gear belt or whatever. Are you pleased with what it's doing?
Yeah, we're making progress anyway. We can start running it for a while, then we actually get a step closer to being able to go out on the river again, which would be great. It's been over 2 years.
That is fantastic. And can I say, the lockdown haircut done by your incredibly talented wife looks superb.
It's lovely.
So Simon, what is this?
Well, this is, I found various bits and pieces. I'm making an instrument panel for the engine so we can start it with a button rather than touching a wire onto the battery.
Then I can start it too.
Yeah, and the entire concept is based around this that says push to start, and I found this in the gravel in the car park. So it's obviously come off of one of the old boats that we disposed of. So I've polished it up and then I'm going to put it all together.
Love the recycling we're doing.
I've got this little fuse holder thing which has got like a rectangular hole, and I just need to make a slot for it to fit into. So I've drilled some of the holes out, but I need to use a hacksaw blade and file and fiddle around until it fits. It's very tedious.
So Simon, I noticed this yellow thing here is the same colour as your car. So have you bought that for the engine just because it matches your car?
No, actually, I painted it.
Oh, and was that to match the colour of your car?
Not really. I just saw a picture of one of these painted yellow. I thought it looked quite cool, so I copied the idea. But
What is it?
do you want to know what it is? It is a filter for the engine, and it's a big old heavy one, but the reason it's so big is that it's got two chambers, one here and one there, and then this lever can switch between them, and they're for use on boats. And the idea is that if you go out onto the water and there's loads of stuff in your diesel tank like grit and dirt, and it gets stirred up and sucked into the engine, it can block the filter which stops the engine from going. So if that happens, it means that you can change over to a clean filter and keep running, and then clean this one at your leisure. And the reason I'm doing this is that when I was helping Brett and Sandy take their barge across the channel a few years ago, about 2 o'clock in the morning, just off the coast of Newport in Belgium, the engine started to die, and Brett had a modern version of these, and he was able to run down to the engine room, change the lever, and we could carry on. So I've always thought since then it's a good idea to have a changeover filter.
And here's another one of Simon's engine masterpieces in situ. I think it looks really nice. At least I won't miss it when I'm walking down the stairs. It's taken me a while, according to Simon. I haven't noticed this box before. It's something new going on in the engine. It says it's not working yet, but I said for the sake of our video, he needs to explain what is it.
This is a continuation of that thing we spoke about before, where I was going to have a little panel for starting the engine rather than touching the wire to the battery and making sparks.
So I can start it.
Yeah.
So is it going to start from down here?
Yes, that's the idea. So this box I found, it's just found around the boatyard. I don't know what it is. It's a little wooden box. This is a piece of plastic I found. This is a voltmeter I found in a box.
Yep.
That's an hour meter that we had. This is the bit that I found in the car park. So it's all based around that. But the idea is that instead of having to start the engine by hand like the old one, we can start it from this. So it's taken ages to do all the wiring.
You are a very patient man. You need to be, really, because you're married to me.
That's right. So I won't be able to demonstrate just yet, but if I turn this switch, that turns on the power. You can see the voltage of the engine battery. And then this button will actually start the engine.
You turn the switch on, Simon. There's an alarm! There's an alarm!
That voltage is the voltage of the start battery, not the batteries that run all the rest of the boat. And the reason I added a buzzer on is that with the old system I had, I'd quite often leave the ignition circuit, if you like, turned on for hours after the engine had stopped, because I'd forget. Whereas that buzzer is quite annoying, so it would remind me to turn it off when it's stopped.
It's very sensible, Simon.